So Thomas, do you have any other fresh ideas cooking up that
Yeah.
you've wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I got one more idea to throw your way and get everyone's opinion. And we're gonna get the solution that I've come. Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Over my career, I've realized that the hardest part about building a company is not the technology. It's not necessarily even the regulatory part. It's not fundraising. It's people. All of those things can be solved. In many ways it's logical, right? Like there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer, even if you don't know what that is at the time, right? You can think through it. The hardest part about building any company is people, because we as the human race are emotional, right? And that's one of our biggest strengths, but it's also one of the things that is most difficult for us to deal with. So this idea is going to move a little bit away from fintech and more into like this agency space that I've been working in. And it's within the context of building an engineering team. How do you bring people together and make sure that everybody understands exactly what is going on and everyone is bought in? This is really hard in technology because technology for a lot of people is just black magic, right? Like it just it either works or it doesn't work, and you don't really know why, right? My phone is this magical box that runs my life, but like I have a very surface level understanding of what it's doing in the background, right? And that's super common for a lot of people to just not understand, even in the startup space, right? Like even CEOs or product people don't understand the technology piece. And if you don't understand the technology and what goes in to building technology, and I'm talking to you've actually gone out there and built it, it's really hard to understand an engineering team. Because the problem with an engineering team is that every time you build something new, even if you feel like you've done it before, there's something new that's going on that unless you spend a ton of time researching and understanding every edge case and use case, is going to make one build very different from another build, right? So if I want to do money movement, so if I want to build out Interac e-transfer into my application, and I want to build out IFTs, electronic funds transfers, right? Both are a type of money movement. Both get money from point A to point B. There are different times and different methods from how you do it. But building those two things are completely different. So you can't go and say, hey, look, it took us 1 month to build Interac e-transfers. It's going to obviously take 1 month to build EFTs. You can't do it. It doesn't work. There's too many unknowns. And unless you built that exact same thing before, it's very difficult to tell how long it's going to take. And even if you do, any number of things could go wrong during it that change the timeline, right? So I've given a lot of setup here. But what I want to do is I want to build out a tool, and we've already started this on our end because we started doing it for ourselves, that allows both technical and non-technical people to understand what is going on within the engineering team. So the way we tackled this is we started at kind of like one of the lower levels of what's happening within engineering. Do you guys know what a pull request is? No. Okay, cool. So at a very like simplified level, anytime something is ready to go to production, you need to have someone on your team who okays that feature or that piece of code before it goes live. And it'll often go through a whole number of different environments in which you have a bunch of QA and you have a bunch of testing. But before it even gets there, you have what is called a pull request. And this is just the engineer taking a bunch of their code and pushing it out for review, and then so it can be merged into the next environment, right? At hopefully a really smaller level. Now, right now, in most of the cases, it's a very manual process. Engineer writes the code, pushes it up for a senior engineer to review. The senior engineer reviews it, provides feedback, and either passes it or rejects it. We, within our organization, we're running into this issue where we had about like this backlog of 20 or 30 pull requests. And our senior engineers, they either had to do their job or just be reviewing pull requests, right? And so how do we close the feedback loop? And we built an LLM tool that reviewed them, provided immediate feedback, and scored these pull requests so that our engineers could either take this back, right, and fix it, or it goes on and the senior engineers can very quickly approve this because it's already been pre-vetted. So we had built this for ourselves. We'd been working with this for 8 months. And what I realized within this tool that we'd built and implemented internally is now we're reviewing pretty much every line of code that our company is outputting, right? We're reviewing it, we're providing feedback, and we're scoring. All of a sudden, with that information, what I realized is we now have an insight into our engineering team that we've never had before. And now we can theoretically package all of this up, turn it into a dashboard, and all of a sudden we start having a report card on how our engineering team is doing. How quickly are we developing code? What is the quality of the code that we are pushing to production? Are our engineers, are they doing really well, right? And theoretically, if we scale this and we put this on multiple companies, right, we can start benchmarking against other companies within. And then the final piece that I want to do with this technology, in addition to the dashboard, in addition to the report card, which makes it really easily accessible for CEOs and CTOs to take a look at their engineering team, I want to be able to build a reward system that gives you points for doing really good work, right? So we're automatically rewarding and engaging our engineers when they're doing good work. Or if they need a little extra help, right, and we're identifying that because the quality of their code isn't where we expect it to be, then, and this isn't like a retaliatory big brother situation, but we go in and we start saying, hey, look, do you need a little extra help? Can we help you? How do we help you? Where do we get to that next level? And so this is a tool that me and a couple of our team members have been kind of playing around with for the last little while. I'd love to get your thoughts.
So basically, is this something for agencies to use to better communicate with their clients?
I think it's for anyone who has an engineering team, right? You have an agency that could show their clients, hey, look, this is how well we're doing, right? Keep paying us to do your work because look at how well we're doing said work. But also, I think that anyone who has an engineering organization, it's hard to keep track, especially when you get to a certain size. If you have 30, 40, 100 developers or more, right? How do you stay on top of what all your engineers are doing and how well you're doing? It's really difficult. And if you have a tool that is providing value on every level of the chain, right? Like it's closing the feedback loop for engineers. Engineering managers are doing faster PRs because their PRs are of higher quality, then we really start to see like that information working its way up within the organization. Now everyone, even the CEO who doesn't have time, he doesn't have 5 minutes to think about this because he's raising money, he's going out and he's selling, but he still needs to know, like, is his engineering team on track? He can take a look and within 5 minutes, because he can get an understanding of what's going on, even if he's not technical.
Yeah. I always thought there's a market fit for a translator, department translator, for every enterprise department ever. And if it can start from the engineering department, that would be a nice plus.
Yeah, because when I was at Neo Financial, I worked closely with the marketing team. And it was really interesting for me because I found that everyone has an opinion on marketing because everyone gets marketed to, right? Where you need that translator is really with the engineering team because it's a black box. People don't understand it.
Yeah, it's almost like the Domino's pizza, how they have like a loading bar on, when your thing is going to be ready. Uber Eats kind of does that too, where it's like you get a little widget that pops up and it just is like, okay, like we're almost there. No, we're not there. If you kind of boil it down, it's the same effect of just like, look, like you don't understand what's happening behind the scenes, but like just know, like this is where we're at with things. It's perfect for, those higher level team members or, clients that have absolutely no idea what this agency that they just hired is actually even doing for them, especially if they're paying hourly for those developer hours. They'll probably get a lot of peace of mind seeing that, okay, like they know how much they're spending, they know where the hourly is, but to see next to it, like, yes, the hourly is going up, but look, progress is on track.
And I know so many founders that are experts in their field, but don't know anything about technology, don't have a really good CTO, and honestly are going to agencies who are not very good. They have no way to really vet these agencies. They have no way to monitor their work. And at the end of the day, they're getting a subpar product and they need to get the work redone.